Welcome to ECN Trade Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you very much for joining me. Well, yesterday the Australian dollar stabbed 3 times at that 76.45 level, and instead of following through to the downside to that awaited challenge of 75.95, the market turned around and went back to the top side. Still trying to attempt to grind higher. The resistance from 76.95 and towards 77.30.40 I see as still as a supply zone and to foul. In light of the current pattern, and especially with the dollar index strengthening up, could see the Aussie eventually break down and look towards an objective of 75.95 and then lower to 75.35 to 74.80. The euro overnight did attempt to move lower. However, demand came in front of that support of 104.55.70. With minor support seen at 105.15 today, I expect to see further challenges. Now, if the index does break above that 101.70, and it's currently right there at the moment, then we could see further weakness for the euro and eventually take out that support of 104.55.70 and look back to the near 14-year lows of 103.40.65 and reassess from there. Any fresh attempts should find resistance now holding at 105.85 and firmer above from those 2 attempts recently seen above that 106 handle, capping around 55.60. Well, dollar yen, since the recovery of that 111.60 support, has rallied on through 112.80 and now through 113.70, with the immediate target holding towards 114.35. Any weakness returning for this morning may be short-lived. The reason behind that is that with the dollar index is strengthening, could see that rally on towards the recent highs around that 114.70 and up towards the further rejection point of 115.45.55 and reassess from there. Well, the Great British Pound was weaker. As you can see, the market is breaking now further to the downside since 123.80. In light of the breach of that level, 121.40.70 is now the objective. Do take note, if we break beneath 121.40, does give further exposure to the downside and back to that recent flash crash that we saw in October around that 118.120 level. Resistance on the day now comes in around 123.45 and firmer at 124.10. Well, the gold price action since the decline from that 12.60.64 level reaches its target of 12.38, and now the market is from the short side probably taken profit. Reason behind that is that we have seen a respectable rebound from that level. However, with further demand seen on the day, could take a rise up towards 12.53 to 56 before the next challenge down. Now, a break beneath 12.36 would give further exposure and bring in a target of 12.18 and reassess from there. Well, to wrap up with oil, no change. Doji after doji, as well as a rejection yesterday, or more to the fact overnight, of that 54.60 level. While we continue to see this failing, I still hold the view down towards 49.60 to maybe 49.60.90 area. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you very much for joining me. And as always, look out for the intraday report that will be released very shortly.